Good evening. Welcome to WooTube. Hope you're all well. Had a good week and all that. I've gone a bit early. I've started a bit early tonight, so I thought I'd just jump straight into a game, and then maybe we can like get into some news and that kind of nonsense afterwards, eh? I guess I'll do a very quick description of the deck that we're going to be playing today. It's an incredibly regal deck. It's got lots of cards that you might find in I don't know. Oh, wait, it's also disappeared. It's got lots of cards that you might find in I don't know, like medieval England, maybe not medieval, maybe medieval. I don't know, ancient England. We've got archers and ballistas, and Winchester, which was the royal home of the English nobility, and all that. And it doesn't have trebuchets, unfortunately. It probably should, like realistically. Probably should have trebuchets, but we'll get to that. We can make some changes at some point. Yeah, we're gonna be shooting some rigs today. I realised that I really like rig shooter, which I don't know what that says about me. It does lead me to a comment which I think, and I do apologize if I'm misquoting you, Izzy, but I think it was Izzy. It was definitely a member of QTM, and I can't remember exactly who. I think it was Izzy when I mentioned, rig shooters coming back because, you know, all of the bin breakers are going, and I mentioned how I was really looking forward to playing rig shooter. And their comment was, yeah, isn't it great to just see the life drain out of the runner's eyes, or the joy drain out of the runner's eyes? And I don't know, like maybe I might be a bad person, because I really quite enjoy rig shooter, and like putting people into that situation where it's just like, well, I probably can't get in anywhere right now. Feels kind of, I don't know, it's always been a thing with me. I think I've always quite liked Wayland. And obviously, if you like Wayland and you want to play Wayland dice, then your options are, well, if you want to play anything decent that isn't envelopment out of Ob, then it's probably going to have like a Trash One program type sub on it, and that can be cool. Or I think so. It's also, I think, like a massive challenge, because as much as you'd think that some matchups are completely free, like everyone's like, oh, if you're playing rig shooter against criminal, then you've basically got it. You know, you like get their rig and you're done. It's a much more thoughtful process than that, because what you're doing when you're playing rig shooter is you're concentrating less on the actual rig that you're shooting, I guess, or like the icebreakers anyway, and thinking a lot more about what other tricks the runner's going to have, because it's those other things which are problematic, and they're what will lose you the game if you don't think about them, and build your deck in a way that kind of deals with them in some way. Just like trashing a killer is never going to be enough. Oh, source straight in there. Yeah. So we'll talk about the deck a little bit after this game. Just because I did start a bit earlier than usual. Good luck, good luck. Do we want to start with 2 archers? Probably not. There's a slight chance that, like, actually yes, because this is exactly the ice that we want. We want 1 archer on R&D, 1 on the remote, and a border controller on HQ is absolutely fine. I'm tempted to keep it. I'm gonna keep it. It's probably a massive risk. We're gonna spin doctor for some money. We didn't find it. Oh, but we've got a Winchester for HQ, which is better. Do we want to border control R&D? No, we're gonna just put this on R&D, and we're gonna let them trash this spin doctor. It's like not ideal because they're actually gonna get a Hashiko flip off it, but there we go. Let me put my face there instead. Oh, what happened there? Did I let them through? Well, let's just see what happens. They see a border control. That's fine. I think I might have pressed a button when I was trying to change my camera, and apparently there's a keyboard shortcut for just letting people through. So that's interesting. We don't res an archer because we can't res an archer. Hopefully they don't rip a hostile takeover. That would be a shame. Unfortunately, that also means we're not drawing a hostile takeover. Or a Rashida. Which I... Bankar is a problem. This is what I'm talking about when it comes to tricks. This is actually a huge problem immediately. Okay, we draw a Trojan horse. So that's a card. Let's draw 1. That's not great. We'll put... we want the border control on the inside. We'll put the archer on the outside. Feels pretty bad. Gonna have to... I wonder what happens if they hit a ganked. This is just the first encounter. That's a shame. Like, otherwise they could die off the net damage. This server looks incredibly suspicious, and I immediately regret keeping our opening hand. But there we go. I went for the like greedy option of we have like exactly the ice that we want. Okay, they're drawing. That's good. I just like if they don't run R&D, then that's perfect. Perfect. So we might draw a hostile. Would be brilliant. Hostile, please now. That's nearly really good. So nearly really good. I mean, I think we just have to jam it and hope. What's up, Augustus? Okay, we could do some drafter nonsense here, but it doesn't really help us at all. So I'm unsure. Let's throw this spin doctor out, put a new one out, and res it. Okay. Not great, but at least they might have to go and trash this. We could try and force them through this remote. But we kind of really want to score this above the law. So that's a shame. I really need money here. If I install it, then I should advance it. I'm just going to do it. Because like we actually are in like a pretty awful spot. I'm going to keep the ice. I think I'm going to keep the ganked and Tucana. We'll throw out the reversed accounts for now. Big idea. Does Hathran cook in this deck? Maybe. Like further, yeah. Actually, I think I did have a Hathran in this deck at one point. Oh, this is a shame. We res here. I think we res to like eat the border control. Eat the boomerang. So we're either not resing at all. Yeah, I think I did have a Hathran at one point, but I swapped it for Thimble Rigs. Because I think I swapped it for a drafter because there is possibilities, but you kind of literally have to have them run into a ganked with a Tucana and it's like very convoluted. Do we res here? Like I don't think so. Do they just Bankar it? Because if they're gonna, no, we're just letting them have it. I'm like in such an awful money position. This is such a terrible start. Like really awful. But there we go. That's fine. Like the problem is, well, there's several problems. Yeah, we really need to draw like exactly an NGO front right now. That's something. We can. This is quite bad. I think we just go. No, I think we need to put something on R&D. It's probably the Winchester because the ballista's really bad as an opening Bankar. Like at least this does 2 cards and it costs us 1 less. Yeah, Drafter's also particularly sick here because we're running free ganked and it's relevant at all times. And sometimes we just get to recur our entire like deck, which is quite funny. We'll shuffle back the Spin Doctor. Possibly, I think it's just the hedge fund right now, as much as I want the reversed accounts. Okay, lots of stuff. We can't push that. There's not much we can do here. It's a shame. Yeah, very little, in fact. I think I could have overwritten that border control last turn. That would have probably been better. I think somehow I have to like do this and just hope that I can get something in this remote soon. Because like I can push out one thing and be maybe okay. The problem is they're going to have like $1 million. So our plan to sort of tax them out off running through archers multiple times is going to be tricky, and we're going to have to keep something in front of the archer. We will res here. Because if they hit this ganked, actually, this is like pretty good for us. Hit the ganked. Boo. They have a link as well. Oh, that's a card. That would have been better on R&D. That would have been better on R&D. Half of me is tempted to go like drafter, ganked. No, because I don't really get anything back from it. It's like, it's just like awful. I mean, I know I'm not playing like a huge amount of money in this deck, but to draw one hedge fund of it is unfortunate. Like, Michaela should know that he can just go wherever he wants right now. Like, I can't res anything. And he's going to lock R&D, and I'm not going to draw into my hostiles. And I really need to score either a hostile or a standoff, or I'm like out of this game. And it might already be too late. Yeah. Okay. Draw a hostile. Oh, draw a hostile. Wow, we've drawn so much ice. Just so much ice, which is, good in a rig shooter. You do need your ice. I'd love to draw something that isn't ice. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 pieces of ice. We have, I think, 15. I can't move this. 15. We've drawn all but 4 pieces of ice. We'll res a thimble rig here. Yes, please. I'll move it here. This is why I'm playing Thimble Rig. It's good against Bankar. Until they get their Buzzsaw down, which will be like almost immediate or anything. Really. Oh, that's almost all of our ice. You have to be joking me. Right. Let's put... I might put this on the ganked on HQ, because right now it's most relevant on HQ. Until they play their, like, killer, which is, like, anytime soon. But I have nothing else apart from ganked HQ, click for 2 credits. And if they play a bustle next turn, then we cooked. I guess I could have moved the drafter. Alex, this draw is nuts. We have so far drawn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 pieces of ice from a 15 ice deck. Like, this is what, when you have just put a deck together and you've forgotten to shuffle it quite as well as you should have, and you're playing in person and you're like, you just keep drawing all the same cards because they were all in the same place where you put them. That's what's happening here. Sorry, that probably got a bit loud right then. I should have muted my mic while I was moving that. I didn't realise it was slowly slipping down. It might happen again. If it does, someone shout at me. Okay. We're still not seeing actual breakers, which is like our only benefit. Draw a hostile. Please draw a hostile. Like, do we... Is there any chance we put the thimble rig up here? Maybe. No. Okay, well, at least that's money. Now I wish I put the thimble rig up here. Advance. I think this is incredibly obvious that this is an NGO front, but I don't care. Normally, I would only single advance these, because that's where you get your like the most. We don't res anything here, right? Because I don't want them to get the draw. I do have a further action. Wait. I may have triggered a Shiko by mistake there. Yeah. You can hashtag flip. Or maybe just click on it. There is a way. I think you just click. Yeah, sweet. Okay. Okay. Right, let's draw a hostile takeover. Could put it here and score out the SDS. I don't want to score out the SDS, so no. Fine. Deck, be like that. I think the players install Spin Doctor and draw like last click because I don't know what else we do. And then at least I can get rid of this SDS for now. Are we going new remote or are we putting it in the server? I think we're going new remote. They're going to run it, but okay, that must be the rest of our ice. That literally must be the rest of our ice. We can get rid of this SDS. Trojan Horse, they have 10 million credits, so I don't think that's going to matter. And unfortunately, they also have an Ice Carver, which probably means, like, if they're on Carmen, which I would normally expect if they're on Ice Carver, could also be Echelon. But either way, they're going to actually break our archers quite real, like, for reasonable amounts of money. So that's a shame. Ice Carver is a low-key very good card right now. The breakpoints are really good. If you're playing Carmen, it massively helps with things like Drafter and Trebuchet and Archer. And if you're playing Buzzsaw, then it massively helps with things like Hortum, Messner Chesvo, shuffle that. What do we want here? Probably the NGO front, because at some point we're gonna have to like pull them through this remote. Yeah, Vampire Nasa. Like, there's a load of 4-strength ice, which are really good to play at the moment. Like 4-strength Code Gates and 5-strength Sentry, and 3-strength Sentries. And Ice Carver deals with all of them. Are we swapping the Thimble Rig? We are not swapping the Thimble Rig. Okay, finally, the Rock has scored an agenda. This is going to give them more money for running, which is a problem, especially bearing in mind they have. I don't even want to count how many credits they have because it's like disgusting. But they're gonna have to like hit this archer multiple times, so at least that's something, I guess. Like, this ganked goes in here next turn. Maybe the Tucana goes in with it. Like, if I'd have been greedy, I could have tried to greed out this Tucana, but I'm definitely not doing that right now. Carmen's coming down because they made a run. Yeah. So what do they break arch for? I mean, we could purge. It feels bad. Very bad. Carmen is 5 strength. Oh, and we've like ditched almost all our 5-strength ice apart from ballista, which is going to be our only real way. We've swapping Thimble Rig up here. Yeah, maybe. in case we draw like. I mean, we're going to lose to the twinning is the problem, right? It's a big problem. No. Fine. Let's go draw. It's not great. We'll put this here. And I think we put the thimble rig here. At least we've got like some money now. I mean, they have closing on like 100 credits. It's hilarious. But this is what happens when you get an incredibly slow start, draw nothing that you can pull them through the remote with. 57 credits. 57 credits. Okay, what do we actually res here? Like the archer. Oh, we have to res something else because of Banker. So if we happen to draw a Kimberlite field, this is like what's important. Like, what do we actually want to trash? Like free. Everything's like free plus cost. So, I mean, I guess we res the thimble rig just because it's the best thing to deal with Banker with. Make him pay 1 for this. We will. I guess we do swap it. No, we'll just leave it exactly where it is. This they can pass. That's fine. This will res. Unfortunately, they only have to boost once because of this boy. 6. That's it. I'm gonna have to pay 6 twice. Not good enough, especially when we're giving them one bad pub. Okay. So now we have to decide whether we're moving the archer onto R&D, which is currently where all the agendas are. I think we swap this with the archer, and then we can always... No, we don't. We're just going to do no. No. Okay. Cool. Let's just score out another of these. Giving them all bad pub, which is really bad. But we're going to do what we're going to do. Ballista is actually... No, it's 3 credits for them to break. It's not that good. The Winchester's actually alright. Like, this is almost as taxing as the Archer. They get an Obkuri down. Unsurprising. Do we have ganks left in the deck? We have 1 left in the deck. We'll probably not swap this. We'll res an archer because we've got attacks out there, ridiculous amount of credits somehow. I don't know how. Hopefully we don't lose like the spin doctor here. That would be a shame. How many are they seeing? 2 extra. Okay. Steal an SDS. And another. GG. That was the most awful start. I drew 12 pieces of ice in a 15 ice deck. And basically nothing else. Okay. Right, let's talk about the deck that we're playing today. So, hello everyone. This is the deck that we're playing today. A deck which I was having a ton of fun playing when I like put it together. So maybe we can like bring it back from that. I think this is probably karma because I started this stream today saying how much I enjoyed playing Rig Shooter and watching the joy drain from my opponent's eyes as they realise that they're not going to be able to get in anymore. You slowly pick apart their rig. So I think that game we're going to put down as 100% karma. But this deck is based on a deck that Warlock played at Italian Nationals. Let's see if I can actually pull that up. I kind of forgot to in advance. So we can go to probably just deck list. It's called Bird and Arrow. I think. Actually, the easiest way is always just to go here, Wayland, and we'll find Built to Last, which is here, Bird and Arrow. So it's based on this deck here, which I think Warlock and Raja took. Spoken like a true prison player. Good evening, Anarcho. Yeah. So I saw this. This is what they took. It looked pretty cool. They had some tech cards in here, which kind of makes sense. Like I was playing wraparounds at Worlds. It's actually very good versus a few things right now, including Ngolo and Audrey. Swordsman also like pretty spicy against Audrey and against Turtle, things like that. And I was originally playing a Roto turret in my Ob deck, but I kind of decided that this deck already struggles a bit against Turtle, and whereas wraparound could help you there, it's like it turns into a pretty bad ice pretty quickly. Roto turret is awful into Turtle matchups, like really really awful. And I think unless we're running Zato City Grid, then I didn't really want to play this as much as like it's actually quite a good Rig Shooter ice, because having a Trash One install program and an end run, like if you can do like Hafren nonsense with this, then it's pretty good. But I liked the free Trojan horses. This is a card which not many people play around, and decks like the Lou decks at the moment tend to not have much money. So that's pretty sick. I liked the free archers because this, short of a few things, is incredibly expensive to break for everyone right now. This is like normally 8 credits for a Carmen to fully break it. Maybe they can give you 2 credits, so then it would cost them 7. Maybe they have to do that twice because of ganked. That's pretty great. Someone had to break this with an unboosted echelon the other day. I think it cost them 13. Can't remember. And I think they still gave me 2 credits. Pretty sick. And other than that, I just tried to strip it right down. Firstly, I wanted to actually get down to 44 cards, and so that's what we've done. I've played with the agenda suite a little bit. We're playing 3 SDS because it's a good Rig Shooter ice agenda. We're playing 2 Kimberlite Fields because I've actually had a lot of fun with this card. I think it's very, very rude. Hostile Takeover is obviously money, an agenda point, and potentially archer bait, and we're playing 1 standoff. The original, they had 3 standoffs. They were on like the Tucana standoff archer, which is really, really sick, but I just found this was a few too many agendas, and if you play into like a Hermes matchup, then you get absolutely wrecked. is my suspicion. But like you definitely could like go to more standoffs, play a third Tucana. But yeah, I adjusted the ice a little bit, as I said. I wanted to play Thimble Rig because I'm not on send a message, so it's a bit harder for me to res my archers. So I kind of wanted one archer, which I could probably only one archer resed, like most games, which I can then move around to wherever I want it. And Thimble Rig is actually very good protection against Bankard decks because they have to put down their Buzzsaw. Same with things like border, like boomerang, stuff like that. Can actually be very, very effective as a single piece of ice, which can do a lot of things. I'm playing a single copy of Drafter because this card is really, really good. We also have Ganked, which obviously, like sometimes we'll gank them into an Archer or a Winchester or what have you. But if you can gank them into the Drafter and they can't break it, then obviously you can get all your cards back from Archives, which is pretty sick. Reverse accounts is fun. We make money from installing this and advancing it, and then draining their money is great when we're planning to potentially play a Trojan horse if they ever decide to go a bit too low on money. Other than that, we get a load of like tempo off our ability, so we don't need that much money most of the time. Like NGO front is nuts in built to last, standoff and hostile takeovers are nuts in built to last, and just sort of advancing our agendas is like we can do that every single turn consistently and keep getting kind of value from it. And it's been really, really fun. It's like very jammy. You've got like actual taxing ice in Wayland, which is rare. And yeah, it feels like a fun deck to play from at least one side of the table anyway. But yeah, also shout out Anarcho Mushroom in chat. She did her last kind of update on Eternal. She's just left or is leaving. I don't know if you've actually left or not, Podrick, but has left the Eternal Balance team, but managed to get the Davers banned on her way out the door, which I think is good. As much as it's like was interesting trying to play around kind of balanced versions, which had like a load of points added. Probably having an endless combo of credits, which you can like trigger on turn 4 is not great for any format, even Eternal. Even when we have shown that it is potentially beatable as per this stream. I did then play against, so for those who watched that stream, Hill's playing Eternal now. Maybe we could just go and play some Eternal. For those who did watch that stream, I did then replay Cobra Bubbles, who was on a tweaked version of his deck, and he did beat me. I made a pretty big misplay with where I put my ice, unfortunately. Shame. But yeah, turns out it's a good deck. Having infinite credits, quite good. It's quite good. It's good effect. Yeah. How's everyone else doing? How's people's weeks going? Or, I mean, I say going. It's like day 1 of a week, isn't it? Mine is going interestingly. My daughter is quite sick, or was quite sick. She seems to have perked up a little bit today. But she's like got a really bad throat, and it kind of sounds a little bit like she's been smoking cigarettes for half of her life, which is like cute and makes you feel sad and upset, and yet also kind of like mildly funny at the same time because of the way that she speaks. So, you know, that's a thing. Lots of people want to play Corp tonight. Maybe we could build a runner while this is happening. Okay, while we're waiting, I'm just going to make sure that my lobby sounds are on, so I will hear if someone joins. I have been working on an idea. Let's see if this is here. Yeah. Okay, so here's something dumb which maybe we build tonight, or finish building tonight. This is like as far as I got when I was actually starting to put this together, when I was talking to Brandon about this yesterday. So Rip Deal is generally a bad card, but it's quite funny because for years everyone said, oh, if you're playing against Criminal, then they've got no recursion. Criminal have always had recursion. It's just bad recursion. I say always, since Red Sands. This came out in Red Sands. It's almost never been played, like outside of some very jank decks, but it's never seen like competitive play. It's a free cost run event. It says run HQ if successful. When you determine, it's probably is changed script, I'd imagine. When you determine the number of cards in HQ you are allowed to access during this run's breach of HQ, i.e., how many cards are you going to see in HQ if the HQ is full, you may add that many cards from your heap to your grip. If you do, you cannot access any cards in HQ during this breach. So, recursion event, quite a cool one in terms of the fact that it brings a card straight back to your hand, a bit like a Torga Breakout, but it can bring multiple cards back to your hand. But the problem is that obviously you'd need to play this alongside a bunch of other kind of support. We'll get back to that in a second. Hey, good luck, have fun. Okay, kit is problematic, but luckily we have very few code gates. I think we keep this hand because last game we doomed ourselves by not having any econ early. So we're going to keep this because we have econ early. And then we can put the ballista like as the inside ice. Tucana in hand. I think I don't know, kit might not run HQ first turn. It depends if they got a dirty laundry. Or biobands. Yeah. So we're probably going to lose something here. Okay. Oh, sick. They saw the only non-trashable. Oh, they had a dirty laundry as well. Or they drew into it. They see a ganked. At least they can't trash it. So that's... Oh, ganked is quite good against kit. Like, really quite good, right? We'll res that. We'll put this here, this here. I think we need the money as much as I want to protect this Tucana in the remote. I think this is just going to go in here. What does Kit say? Oh, it's the remainder of this run. Oh, no, ganked is nowhere near as good as I hoped it was. No, but it's the first turn. Yeah, no, this is fine. So they'll encounter the Thimble Rig, their Kit ability goes, then they encounter the Ballista. They might be on Inversificator. If they're on Inversificator, then we're like in trouble. That's interesting. That is interesting. Okay, let's just gain some money here. I think we need to get the SDS into the remote because they now know it's here. They've got the tech, the nanotech, literally. Trash reverse accounts. If we draw exactly a Trojan horse here, that's pretty sick. They find a Kimberlite field. Okay, let's draw a Trojan horse, and if not, let's start advancing this SDS. Ooh, we see a ganked. I think we double advance and put the ganked in the server because the ganked is no good in HQ. Like, I love it. Last game, we drew every single piece of ice that we had. This game, no ice. This is quite funny, right? We score this out, they pantograph out a symbol chip and immediately reinstall it. That's hilarious. I think I want to protect HQ. There's a real big risk if I draw here, but I'm going to draw. Okay, we're going to go HQ, R&D. I don't want to just lose to singles here. As much as them getting set up is a bit scary. At least we can trash their nan attack now. Okay, cool. They get an Ngolo instead. Just swap it out. We'll res a Winchester here. It's actually pretty expensive for them, especially if they want to actually access. 5 credits. Seems good enough. This is the end of the encounter. Okay, cool. Are they deep diving us? They haven't got an extra click. I think we do. Do we res the border control here? If we res the border control, can we res this ballista? Just about. We also forgot to res the Tucana, but let's just ignore that fact. Yeah. Are they gonna deep dive us? Do we ever pop this here? No. Okay. All right. I mean, we want to get our NGOs back into the deck. That's good for next turn. Do we try and bait them through the server with it? Ballista will trash. I think we just take 2 and then, yeah, because I'm quite happy to shuffle back these NGO fronts, to be quite honest. And then we can get to Tucana. I don't think they'll be on SMC because currently Kit tends to not play SMC. Fine. Okay. We respect it and pop the Spin Doctor? I almost would rather they trash the Spin Doctor. It's going to be a shame if they pick off these ganks. They'd be really good if they were resed. I'm not going to res the Spin Doctor. I'm not going to trash the Spin Doctor. Okay, Tucana. So let's res the Tucana, and then we'll install advance, score, hostile. What are we going to put and where are we going to put it? I think we go either drafter on R&D. It's like annoying to break a drafter with an Ngolo and cost us the least. Or we put the archer there and don't res it. Or we get an archer on the remote. No, I think I want to put a drafter on R&D. Okay, drafter is no longer annoying to break with Ngolo, so that's a shame. Oh, do they just lose? So this is the end of this run, right? So I've got to res for Thimblerig. Now, do we want to ganked off the drafter or the ballista? It's the ballista, right? It is the ballista. Do we want to move this anywhere? Probably not. So they know we're on ganked. Like, they've seen it, right? So they... well, they might not jack out if they've got another Ngolo in hand. Right, okay, yeah, fine. Or a spark. They didn't see anything. Do we want to move this? No, we can move it if they run. Interesting. I think we push this, right? Like, it wins us the game. We have enough money because we're built to last and we're amazing. If they run this, then we can swap these two. Or we might even just be able to swap the Thimblerig and the border control and just stop them. We might just be able to, like just tie this one up. Like, they need quite a few tricks to get in here now. This eats their kit ability. We can border control them because we can do the old Thimblerig trick. Oh, we're getting there. Unless they're running last click, so we get to do the Thimblerig trick. If you haven't seen this before, this is like a great little thing. This is another really good reason to play Thimblerig in decks that also have border control. So they're going to go past the Thimblerig. We're going to swap the Thimblerig with this border control. All of a sudden, we have a border control on the remote. Which we're going to fire, and they don't have a click left. And we scrape over the line with a credit left. Okay, that worked a bit better. Amazing what happens when you draw some actual econ, isn't it? Let's put a Thimblerig on archives just for the lols. Cool. Okay. Right. I feel like I'm back in it. I've played my game of karma. We've had our like awful luck. Grugby on 0 symbol chips. Yeah. I have been playing a kit deck recently, and I have it's right here. I have a single symbol chip. Like, I feel like 0 symbol chips is just so risky. Like, it kind of, you don't need to do the whole like free self-modifying code, free symbol chip thing anymore. And like, Shaper doesn't even do it as that well unless you're maybe Arasana or something like that. But not having a single symbol chip feels like super sketchy to me, especially being as you've just got so many options in Shaper for recursion. And like, sometimes symbol chip doesn't necessarily always work, because if your deck is just like, I'm going to install Ngolo and I've got about 2 other programs and 3 Ngolos, you often like don't have a program in the bin for the symbol chip to be live. But you could play Reclaim or something. Okay, we've got a weirdly similar hand to our first game, so we're gonna mulligan it because we can't protect HQ. This is not awful. They're Sable. Okay. I think we install Advance the NGO and then we just protect HQ. It's very obviously, like incredibly obviously, a NGO, almost to the point where I'm considering resing it in case they're on diversion of funds. Not diversion of funds, the other one. Symbol chip is just good. It gives you so many options and lets you make mistakes. Exactly, Shenzhen. And I think that's I like Netrunner, but I like decks which let me make mistakes. It's why like I play decks with a lot of recursion because I'm like I want to not feel like I've lost the game if I turn one run into something that turns out to be a tithe and lose my like one and only breaker or something like that. Ooh. We'd res it. Because unfortunately there's too many good hits. Like all three of these are good hits. Okay. I think we can. Do we draw or do we spin Doctor? I think we spin Doctor because we can recur our spin Doctor, so we won't feel too bad about the fact that we're gonna like pop this quite quickly. Okay, this is fine. We're just gonna game 5 here. We're gonna take that and we're gonna put this on R&D. That feels perfectly fine. Like I need to shut off their central accesses, especially because if they lock the top of R&D, then it's really hard for us to draw into a hostile takeover, which is kind of a big part of our deck. We'll draw once for a hostile. Didn't find it. We'll put this in a new remote and click for a credit. Could have put it over the Spin Doctor, but doesn't feel particularly worth doing. Kurapira. Okay. So they are threatening HQ, which is a little scary based on what we have going on here. So I think we draw once. Ooh, it's getting a bit cramped in HQ here. So we can either draw again and put the drafter here. We're then gonna not be able to recur this other Spin Doctor, but that might be necessary. The other thing is like, are they really gonna want to or be able to steal an SDS now? They lose their Kurapira if they do. It's quite a big risk. So I think maybe just this. Take a credit, throw out. Actually feel like I almost want to keep the SDSs in hand. Because I want to score these. These aren't so this one isn't so powerful right now. Easier for them to steal out of HQ if they do tend to get in. No, let's play this line. There's a very mild chance that if they run archives, we don't even pop the Spin Doctor. We just see if they want to trash their own Kurapira. Okay, so now's that time for me to decide on that line. No, I'm too scared. It nearly happened. Okay, perfect. That is perfect. So we now we've got an archer here, right? Yeah, cool. Now the only problem is Inside Job is a card. Boomerang isn't great for them here, but Inside Job, like more criminals are playing Inside Job. So there's a chance, ooh, backstitching. They might backstitching me here. They might just run HQ. Okay, so the pressure's on. So now do I want to get rid of it? Ah, they've got a revolver. Okay. So revolver, actually, it costs them 3 of their bullets to get through this ice. So that's good. Holy hell. Okay, so I think it's time to start dragging them through this ice. And I think we start with the reversed accounts. As much as it kind of looks like they might just go centrals, which is a bit scary based on what we've got here. Do they just ignore the remote if I start jamming in the remote? Because if they like legwork, well, I guess I can border control them. Kind of scary though. So it's just whether I put the second archer here or whether I use it to protect centrals. Probably not, because like backstitching is really good against this. So I think I kind of want it on R&D more than anywhere else. Although not if... Oh, that's tricky. Oops. I don't want HQ. I think I'm going for the server. We'll go server 3, and then I think I need this ice. Otherwise, I'd be tempted to try and push this kimberlite field, but without anything else rezzed. Losing the border control. A bit sketchy, really. Tempting, though. They're on revolver. They're probably on multiple revolvers. Okay, we like paused for long enough that looks like an agenda now, so that's good. Oh no, that Marcus HQ. That's quite bad for us. Yeah, quite bad. At least they're using some bullets here. I think I don't want them to hit the kimberlite field. Please don't hit the kimberlite field. Crap. That might make them more tempted to run this. So that's got to be a bonus. They always. Ooh, okay. So they're deep diving me here, right? Do I res the thimble rig so I can move the thimble rig? I think I do, because I do actually want it resed. Now, I could border control them, but I think that's a really bad idea. Handily, most of the agendas are here. And they've only got one click left, right? What do they see? A hostile. Oh, and an SDS. Ooh. And a ton of ganks. They take the SDS. What are we trashing here? The revolver. Okay, now I really wish I had the kimberlite field. Right, do we want to swap this? Almost definitely. We want to swap it with one of the archers. The outermost, right? So they can't inside job the remote. Yes. Here. Right. Now, what do we push? Do we push the above the law to try and get rid of this backstitching? I think that's more vital than trying to get... I think the backstitching is how we lose right now. I mean, they... probably can't. They won't have enough tricks in hand. So let's res this and we'll just force them to lose some money. I guess I could have advanced it one more time and then install the above the law. No, I want to be able to jam something next turn. Okay, they're drawing up. If they run HQ, we might have to board control them because this is the game. And this above the law feels worse now, but there we go. Think I have to BC here, right? I can't let them have a 1 in 3. Swap Thimble Rig. No, I think it's good where it is. Okay, that's decent. This is one inside job away from being gone. It's whether we jam the SDS in the remote or we spin doctor. So we could put the SDS in the remote where it's a bit safer. They can't run through this drafter. We could put the spin doctor in the server and draw up next turn. Or we just Winchester HQ. I think Winchester HQ feels fine. Because like Boomerang, just like Boomerang probably just destroys us here. But we're going to need to turtle up a bit, I think, because they will have lots of, from the looks of their deck, they're going to have like multiple backstitchings and lots of inside jobs. Oh, they're on a Carmen as well. Okay. Can they get through here? Currently, yes. Do we swap this? Probably with the drafter, right? And then we try and force them through here. That could be quite good. That's not ideal. Okay, they currently can't get into HQ, which is good. R&D is expensive. Although we can only res one of these archers, so if they make us res this one, then R&D is suspect. I mean, SDS, we could have just tried to jam an SDS behind a thimble rig. It's definitely an option. But I think I want to try and... Okay. If we had a Trojan horse in hand, we might let them just trash this, but I don't think we do. We'll res this, pop this. We'll spin doctor. Now we've got enough money, so I think we actually get back the reversed accounts. We're definitely getting back the border control. Unfortunately, that pinhole wasn't on a ganked, and I guess if we had a ganked in here, then they have to pinhole it, right? Now do we push? We might push the SDS now. Can they get into HQ? Yes. There's a ganked in there. That's going to be bad. Or do we just turtle up more? Because we could get either the Winchester or we can get a border control here. No, I think we just need to push. Because I don't think they're going to have enough money to get through this archer, even if they have a way of getting through this thimble rig. And then if we can trash their Carmen, then we're in a really good spot. Because I didn't really talk about the ice makeup of this deck, but it's almost all sentries. So, an interesting thing about rig shooter is you can try and do the thing where you have like lots of different type of ice, and you if you trash the sort of relevant breaker, then you try and jam behind that bit of ice. But that can often lead to like really having having a lot of difficulty. Are we swapping this thimble rig? Yes. Are we swapping this thimble rig? This will be like barrier into barrier. This is I don't know if we are actually. Yeah, I guess we put it back here. Goodbye, Carmen. Yeah, it can make your ice suite really, really tricky in terms of actually building it, because you need like you can only really ever focus on destroying one type of breaker. So at Worlds I was playing Thimble Rig Shooter, which was an ob deck which kind of focused on trashing for runners fractors. Because ob's got a lot of good barriers. Whereas here, it's most definitely... Are we just pushing the other SCS for the win? Do we lose before that? Winchester is probably good enough. Drafter can get back, or maybe install a border control. I think we're probably okay here. Yeah, with this deck, because we're playing sort of archers and Winchesters and things, then we kind of just focusing on trashing their ways of dealing with sentries. Okay, how many clicks are they going to have here? 10 million. Are they going to use that new, like, I'm going to bypass 2 pieces of ice thing? Because in Swift, I hadn't considered that. Swift Sable with... What's the new bypass card? Like the new inside job? Because you can still get your full deep dive off. Oh, that's fun. I had not considered that. Shibboleth. This is fine. They're gonna... Oh, unless they boomerang this archer, we don't have a res border control. That's a problem. If they boomerang the archer, then we're in trouble. And by trouble, I mean we've lost. Fine. They're just running it. Do we move the thimble rig now? I think we do, because we're about to trash. We're about to trash. No, let's not. This is V1 punish right here, because it's ends the run and trashes their rig. And we don't care about losing an agenda. We'll get rid of that, and we'll get rid of the Kurapira. Now, there's still a chance that they just inside job R&D, or just like faceplant R&D. If they, yeah, this is the correct play. There's no point in us rezzing here. And they could just win. Oh! Wow, scary. They haven't run HQ yet, right? I don't think so. Technically, they might be able to get through here. No, we can boost, like, all of our money apart from 3 into the trace. And they won't have enough to deep dive. I actually really like just running back there. As it is, this is an archer, and we'd have to put ourselves back down to 6 points. So they'd actually potentially win the game. Like, we'd have to choose on whether to res or not. And let's see if we should have. We draw. No. Oh, no. Okay, so we wouldn't have lost. We wouldn't have lost. Bang. Entire rig shot. Was worried, as you clearly had a lot of tricks. If you boomerang that archer, I lose. And was sweating the inside job on R&D. I like the backstitching. So I just realized that the new bypass event in Swift Sable is probably pretty genuine. Yeah, because the new Estebrado. Spelling. Yeah, I hadn't considered this. So yeah, me too. Zoe saying that they'd written it off. Yeah, me too. Until this very moment. Let's have a quick look at that. Thanks for the game. Okay, so here's a thought. We'll come back to Ken in a second. So if I've seen quite a few like deep dive decks playing Swift, and even playing Swift out of Sable, and I think some of the ones which did really well at Worlds were playing Swift, Sable, and 2 or sometimes 3 deep dives. And the new card Es Dobrado. So this feels a little bit bad. Oh, I need to turn my charger on. Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to come back and talk about Estebrado. I'll be literally 1 second. Who noticed me nearly like yank my laptop to the floor right then? That was terrifying. Okay. So this card can only be it's bypass, which can only be played on centrals. If you don't know it, it says run a central server. The first time you encounter a piece of ice during that run, bypass it. That bit is the same as inside job, but only on centrals, which makes it a worse inside job. Then threat 4, which is like the bad threat one, but still, threat 4. The second time you encounter a piece of ice that run, you may spend a click to bypass it. So this, when I first read it, I was like, oh, that's a deep dive card, right? But then you're like, well, no, because I'm spending a click. Like, I can get through 2 pieces of ice, but I'm spending a click to do that, which means it doesn't really work with deep dive, because even at Sable, I want to have like 5 deep dives. So unless I'm also playing like some Picachons or I don't know, something else to gain like a massive amount of clicks, this isn't going to work in deep dive decks because we're not going to get our full value. However, Swift Sable has 6 click turns. So if you just played like Swift, Sable, and a ton of run events, but particularly your maybe not 3 of these, probably 2, maybe 3 though. You definitely want like pinhole threadings. You definitely want inside jobs. You possibly want tread lightly. I think this is like a bit of an underrated card in these things. And then stuff to just try and get some money. We're probably not playing diversion of funds. We're definitely playing dirty laundry. We might be playing diversion of funds, but like unsure. We're not playing that. Could play this. Maybe this is the Rip Deal deck. This is a run event. And then like outside, instead of diversion of funds, I'd probably rather play embezzle. And then you play like your what are they called? Your like back stitchings. You play some boomerangs, and you play some normal breakers. So let's say Kurapira, got a Carmen. I kind of like the revolver in that deck actually. Like maybe one is like not enough, but maybe we play a second. You play a Shibboleth. A Chesva or 2, and then just some like draw and whatever events. This is probably like a pretty good way of landing some deep dives, like early on. Like this is why you're probably playing 2 of these. But I mean, even early on, like, you can use it just as an inside job for your first deep dive when they've only got a single piece of ice on their central servers. And later on, you kind of smash out, and maybe you do even play like Rip Deal, so you can do a 4th deep dive. If you put a Docklands Pass in there, you could get 2 deep dives back, or you could get an Estebrado and a deep dive back. I mean, it's like gets a bit silly, but like there's definitely something there. It seems like a lot of fun. Right. Let's shoot up one more rig, because what have we done? Have we had 2 good games and 1 like atrocious loss so far this evening? So we'll see if we can round it out with a nice even number, eh? And then maybe we quickly try and like deep dive someone turn 3 and see what happens. Like, what else do we put in this deck? It needs draw, so it might just be on like Career Fair, Earthrise, all of that. Like, I think Earthrise is good in deep dive decks. Oh, we've got someone already. Essa, interesting. Okay. We've got a standoff early is actually pretty good. A Winchester HQ is decent. And then an art, I'm like kind of tempted to keep this. I think I'm gonna keep it because I kind of like having the standoff early. I'm not gonna let them shushka me turn 1. Ooh, and a hostile early. Okay, so that means that we can put our archer on R&D and feel fine about it. Don't think I want them to draw 4 cards. It's like never the correct option to give them cards in most circumstances. Okay. We can probably throw out 1 Winchester. We lost a spin doctor. Just a bit of a punish. Ooh, wow, this has got sketchy very fast. Do we do the? We do the standoff because they're definitely not going to trash their Begamot. So we're going to get our money and our card draw, which is actually pretty good. I mean, I say they're definitely not going to. I can't guarantee that. If they do, then it means that they can run all of our centrals absolutely free. No, okay. Okay, we've got like the reverse happening of our first game here. We are drawing all the agendas and none of the ice. But that's okay because we can at least next turn we can just score out a hostile, hopefully before they put down a marrow. Okay, they're on the Lamb Begamot plan. This is okay. They probably can't break this very well, which is funny. It's even funnier if they hit the ganked, but that's 1 in 4, and everything else is an agenda. I don't think because this isn't at strength yet, so they've gone a bit early here, but they probably just let this fire. Do we boost? Yeah, we like if they let it fire, we boost by 2, right? Because they have 5 credits, and then we can get rid of their lamb. Seems like more important. This can just fire. Do we boost into the end of run? We could do. Like we actually could do. I think we will. If we boost by 3, then they definitely don't get in. And then we can recover next turn with a hostile. If they run back, then yeah, it's like pretty bad for them. Okay. We can always wheel out another hostile. Right. So actually we need to start now we need to start turtling up a bit. We might put the ganked on HQ because that's going to do. It's getting sketchy. We can draw 1. That's like a wee bit dodgy. And then it's do we put the ganked on R&D so that if they run this, they're losing their Begamot. I think so. So if they lose their Begamot, they also can't steal our SDSs, which is like great. Do we swap the thimble rig here? We might just put it on R&D so we don't have. No, we won't. Okay. The nice thing here is that we're not too worried about giving a bad pub at this point because they don't have any way to spend it. We can't really trash from HQ. Like, Tucana is the only thing we can trash. I guess it's fine. We don't have a server we can put it in right now. We lost a ganked. That is a shame. We will not do that. Well, we got a Tucana back. Which we're probably gonna trash. Do we wanna? No, we're gonna risk it. Fine. I don't mind losing a ballista. Okay, we'd actually love to draw like a second archer right now. Because we've got plenty of agendas to sack to it. We'd also quite like to score out this Kimberlite so that we can get rid of Bankar. There's a chance that we trash the Marrow. Probably not. They'll have a third one. You might have tried just putting the Tucana out naked. Yeah, that's actually not... Well, there is bad pub. It's like, if it cost more than one, I'd have been well tempted. I think they run it no matter what because it looks like a spin doctor. But I don't hate that. I definitely don't hate that. No, we'll keep that where it is. Okay, so now we can draw one. Wait. Do I want to try and use this Winchester as remote ice? Probably not, right? So I'm just going to draw again. That's great. I can chuck out a hedge fund if I need to throw something out. Putting Winchester out and swap it with a thimble. Now that is the kind of play which I should be playing. Absolutely. Did they just play a... Oh, just a ghost tongue. We'll get rid of this. I think we keep the ice. We lost a better piece of ice. Shouldn't have kept the ice. Right. Do I want to swap this now? Probably not. Actually, kind of yes. I want the thimble rig here because they can't turn it twice. Oh, that's like really good. That's kind of perfect. Do we go for the Tucana play? It's greedy. It is greedy. But I think so because they just don't have enough money. So let's do this. Like now we can get a second Winchester onto HQ, which is like really, really nice. Hey Bar, we can't see your cursor for some reason. Oh, like the that's weird. Like you normally could see it, right? I wonder if I've changed some settings somewhere. Oh yeah, how bizarre. I probably can't fix that right now yet, but I will try to once I go off air. Also, how are you doing? I hope you're well. How was St. Petersburg like Russian nationals? As much as I would have loved to have done the reverse leg of the marathon trip from Russia, but to Russia. We'd res an archer, right? Yeah. We've got a standoff that we can sack for it. Oh my gosh, and their Begamot is not at strength to deal with this. Oh, this is so brutal. Okay, so they can break it. They're gonna hit a ganked. Oh, this is where I start to feel bad. Like I genuinely start to feel bad because this is disgusting. Unsmiley face. I'm like genuinely quite sorry because like I think that's probably their last lamb. Maybe they're on free. Doing great. CEO was pretty chill. I didn't do it. Oh, maybe. What did you do? Oh, right. Yeah, for sure. You can take 4 net. Go ahead. Type. Take net 4. I'll let him do that. I didn't know this. CO was pretty chill. I didn't do all that well results wise, but it was pretty clean event from a first time TO standpoint. Excellent. Right, we're gonna get rid of a banker now. Do we want to swap the thimble rig? Yes, to here. That's good for next turn. Like we do technically. I think we have to. That's fine. We can lose a hostile. How much money do they need to? You can draw cards here. How much money do they need to play a finality? Like some. I'd love to get a piece of ice on archives. It's not going to happen anytime soon. They still can't break an archer. Now, it is worth knowing that if we're not careful, then they break an archer for 3 credits and they have 2 bad pub. Are we swapping a thimble rig? Almost definitely not, because it's like the best piece of ice to deal with this nonsense. Spin Doctor's good. We've got a Tucana here. Did we score off this and not res it again? Yeah. I was like, yeah, I really wish we had a piece of ice for archives. What an idiot. So we could score the Kimberlite and trash their lamb using the Kimberlite. But this wins us the game, so let's do this. Like, I remember getting, when I had just arrived at Worlds, or not just arrived, it was on the start of day 2, and I ran into Ben. What's his real name? Not his real name. What's his avatar name? It'll come to me in a second. He's one of the unbanned crew. He was playing Essa. Really lovely guy. He's got really long dreadlocks. I'll remember his scream name in a second. Oh, they are finalitying me. Well, this can go. Do we trash the Spin Doctor as well? There's no chance that they get in here, right? So I think we're fine to do that. Kikai, thank you, Gia. And we were like, oh, what are you playing? What are you playing? And I was like, oh, I'm on Essa. And he's like, oh, we're on Essa too. I was like, oh, interesting. And he's like, are you on the Spice? And I was like, well, I don't know what the Spice is. And we then discussed our decks a little bit. And I was like, I'm kind of completely breakerless. I've got like boomerangs and botchers and that's it. And Banker. And Kikai said, oh, we're all on Lamb Begamot. Which blew my mind because I played a Lamb Begamot deck on stream when it first got released because I thought it was just high class jank, and they made it really work in this deck. They how are they planning to get in here? Um, and I said, what happens if someone reses a Fimbulrig? And Kiko's response was, Fimbulrig doesn't exist. It can't hurt me. Because this is like literally this deck loses to Fimbulrig. If you've got like three pieces of ice and one of them's a Fimbulrig, then you just lose. I think some of them ended up playing a Buzzsaw because of that case. I don't think they've got a. I think you've already used Lamb, right? Yeah, busted if it wasn't like really busted. That's it. That's a learning curve right now. Um, I mean, this is like definitely going to be the first time that a lot of people have come across Lamb because this has been on the ban list for a long, long time, and only realistically got released off it fairly recently. NWE was mostly on ESSA as well. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, most of them had like one. Oh, Angola would be even more busted, I think, because I think Angola's better breaker slightly, as long as you can boost it by one. No, and we'll just score out. Oh, we got a Trojan horse as well. Some rough ice hits there. Rough. Can't spell rough. Um, yeah, there was lots of S. It was interesting how different all the S's were. As much as like, so NWE and Unbanned were obviously both on like this Begamot Lamb combo, which was just very can be. Um, I don't like the fact that you end up breaking my archers for free credits, though. Thanks for the game. Um, yeah, like some really a wild array of different kind of different S's which were at Worlds. Um, right, very quickly. It's 10. Yeah, go on in. Let's we can very quickly build not this deck. We can build this deck. So Esterado, Swift, Sable. I think this is a start. It might just be two Esterados. It's probably not the Tread Lightly's. We'll cut them in a second. We just need card draw, which is probably Earthrise and Class Act, and uh, maybe we play casts and we play Career Fair just so that we have like non-running options. Oh, Gamble's probably a good idea. I've heard it's a good card. Do we need mutual favors? Because we could just play this, play a mutual favor. Fred Lightly's probably too cute, although I do like it for like threatening early. Like I want to be on 3 of these or none of these, right? I don't want to try it. Um, and then let's play 2 career fairs and cut a card. Oh, we don't need 3 pinhole ratings. That seems fine, right? That's a deck. Like you could even. It's interesting actually. None of the deep dive decks. It's probably just because it's not a very good card. Uh, but also like really works well in specifically deep dive decks. None of them are playing Lucky Charm, right? Maybe we play like one Lucky Charm. Let's just try it. Like the Esterbrado is a thing that we should really try. Am I missing anything urgent? Obviously, I don't have Doof, but I just don't think Doof is great. I'd rather play Embezzle. This feels fine. Feels like a deck. It's probably not got quite enough card draw. Third Earthrise would be an option. Let's try it. S. Sable. Debrado. Yeah. Damn right I'm good. Debrado. Came up with that all by myself. Be proud. Jinteki. We'll do literally one game of this. Free Swift. Yeah, I think I want Free Swift. The like with again, like obviously that could be cut to two, but my main thought here, yeah, was I was just playing against Zoe Hope or Zoe Hope, depending on how you look at it. And they were playing a Sable deep dive deck with Swift, which, you know, we saw quite a lot of these. Obviously, it's under N for Sable. And I kind of realized that Estebrado, as much as I'd written it off as a bad card because you can't deep dive using it, you can if you're Swift Sable because you've got 6 click turns. So you can even spend the extra click. That's the theory. Oh, I need to put that I'm streaming. It's not what it looks like, is it? That's I've like worked this out now. I've worked out how I can remember. And when I say remember, I mean copy and paste the link. Bosh. Also, it was also I've just kind of reread your notes. Yeah, I didn't realize that was your first time TOing. That's cool. I just sort of started TOing myself last year. It's quite like quite a lot of pressure at first. I found it, I found it fun. It was interesting, but like, fair play to you for doing that. I think TOs don't get enough recognition. And I'm not saying that about myself. I'm saying that more about all the other TOs, especially ones who've been doing it for ages. I mean, yeah. But also come to Bristol next weekend for for the tournament that I'm running. It's startup, so you can play Drago and stuff. We like to be fair, we ran a startup event fairly well, not that recently, but a little while ago, and there were almost no boats. I think there was one boat, literally one boat in the entire tournament. And when I say one, I don't mean like one playset, one boat out of like 10 players, a single boat in all the decks, which is quite refreshing. And I don't think there was much Drago. I think there was only like one deck that was on Drago. So Bristol meta. It's a fun meta. I like to have fun. I've just realised that my face was probably covering the cards, so just while startup, you mean I can play Keeling? Yeah, you can play Keeling. Which I think is fine. I think in startup, I think Keeling is fine because you can't play Ag Infusion, right? I think Ag Infusion is where Keeling just gets really disgusting. It's kind of the same with Nanocivic Grid. It's like Nanocivic Grid is really disgusting in Ag Infusion. It's much more fair in sort of startup where you don't have that ability and where the ice is a little bit tamer as well. Let's go back to that. Oh dear, Architects of Tomorrow. Oh no. I mean, normally two career fairs and an open hand is like really good. Two backstitchings, interesting, but I think we need to mulligan this. I guess at least we can maybe get some clicks back, but playing against what is likely Hyperglacier with a deep dive deck with bad breakers is ooh. Well, this is interesting. We're gonna get to run on our mark, I assume. Wow. That is not what I was expecting. Well, let's see what our mark is. Archives. Boo. We can deep dive in this turn, right? Do we do that? Sure. This is where we hit a snare, right? Okay. So they're on whatchamacallit. Okay. I kind of want them to draw the Cyber Sand Harvester because they've got no ice. So now we could try and find Rashida, or we just hit this deep dive. Well, let's just try and win. Yeah, Stegodon, as expected. Now, do we steal the Stegodons? Oh, they're on Nightmare Archive as well. Oh, we exactly steal the Stegodons. Okay, well, that's two Stegodons that we don't have to deal with. So that's good. Yeah, that's the other thing. You can't do busted agenda densities in startup. Like, you can't play 6-5-3 agendas, for instance. Just can't do it. Do we check these? These are both Nightmare Archives, right? That's what I'm guessing. So let's find some card draw. Backstitching's fine. Swift is good. I think we just played a gamble. I guess we probably should have challenged this ice. Ooh. Do we have... We don't have Miss Bones. But I don't think I can let them have that ticking. I also definitely should have challenged this ice last turn. I'm not quite sure why I didn't. We can draw for like a dirty laundry to get rid of this. Feel like we have to, right? It's just so much money. But maybe we don't care and we just set up for the win. Okay. It's interesting. This is fun. Tread lightly screws with Architects of Tomorrow. The res cost of each piece of ice. This decreases the cost of a piece of ice, but they need to still pay to res it. That's hilarious. It's not on this. No, it's not. That's fun. You know, who would have known? Do we like check this with a pinhole, and then we can always just inside job it if it turns out to be an agenda? Or we tread lightly it. Ooh. Oh, it's the Cyber Sand. Well, that makes sense. That can just fire. So now if they res another one, it will cost them an extra 3. They res it basically for the full price -1. That's so funny. I also potentially should have res this Swift first. Action. Can we trash? We're like super light on money. You don't want to pop the cyber sand? Interesting. So we trash this. We go and take a credit, trash the Nico. We can't deal with the refuge campaign. Hmm. Okay, what are we throwing out? I think we might need our backstitching. The Chesva might be the worst card right now. And the Swift? We're really going to need a Swift at some point. We'll just throw out an Estebrado. Actually, I think throwing out the Estebrado is... Well, we're not at threat yet. But that's probably the only way that we can really get through their stuff. Oh, that's a shame. Okay. Do we have to go and trash this? I don't think so. Let's draw one. The boomerang's probably better. Probably needed to put a little bit more money in this deck. Not actually sure what money we've got. We've got bravados in here, right? Dirty laundries. And some daily casts? We did put the casts in, right? I'm pretty sure we did. Let's have a look. Yeah. It's not much money, is it? I also forgot to put in whatchamacallit. The card that's actually quite good in Sable. Archives Mark. I think installing the Carmen will bankrupt us, so we can't do that anytime soon. Well, this is getting awkward. Hey Dave, how you doing? So basically, the main thing about this deck is that I wanted to try. We've been playing Rig Shooter all night, but we played against a Sable Swift deck, and I realized that you could play Estebrado, in Sable Swift, and still have enough clicks to like Estebrado, spend a click, and play a deep dive. Unfortunately, I've like very much run out of money here in a significant way. So I'm like in a bit of trouble. And I don't know what this is on HQ. If it's a skunk works, I guess we can pinhole it. to get rid of it. Hey, Andre, how you doing? Um, this is like you've joined just as I'm like playing one last game. We've been playing Rig Shooter all night. And I decided that I wanted to see if we could make Estebrado work in Swift Sable because then we don't care about the additional click. Well, this career fair will be good. It's probably actually better than the boomerang. Um, this Architects of Tomorrow deck is doing I don't know what. Um, Rig Shooter's on the rise. Yeah, I realized the other day that I think I really enjoy Rig Shooter, which I know you kind of hate. um, but there's something about it, and I don't know what it is. But every time I see a Rig Shooter deck, I want to play like Rig Shooter. Ooh, okay, what we got going on here? Okay, well this is fine. We're gonna be bypassing all their ice anyway. We landed a turn one deep dive and stole 2 Stegodons, which was interesting. We've seen like Cyber Sand Harvesters. They're playing refuge campaigns, which we haven't had the money to trash, so we've just had to kind of leave them. We really want to draw. Okay, deep dive is good. Let's play this, and let's. Boomerang Archives. Okay, so next turn we can like pinhole archives, trash this whatever this is on HQ, then inside job, and hopefully deep dive for the win. We'll still have a click to steal an Ikawa and access another card if I'm not mistaken. Unless they put a second piece of ice, which will be a problem. And then we're going to wish we'd kept our Estebrado rather than throwing it out. I did find something interesting as well for people who are just joining, is that I played a Tread Lightly and then realised that Tread Lightly also increases the cost of their Architect's res, which was like really fun. So yeah, Tread Lightly. That's your Architects of Tomorrow or your anti-Architects of Tomorrow tech. Dave C was watching soccer stream against Essa earlier and got a strong desire to start sniping the console and yeah, that's happened both to me and I've done that to someone else. I think I ended up on -4 hand size the other day. Okay, we're going to try and win this turn. Let's go here first. Oh, I guess they're on former carry, right? Oh, that's going to be unfortunate. No, well, we've seen a lot of influence, actually, because they're on Cyber Sands. So I'm not totally sure they can be on. If this turns out to be a ganked, then that's unfortunate. But again, we've seen a lot of influence, so I'm assuming it's just a Managam. I haven't done any maths in terms of working out whether I can. Oh, it could be a ganked. It's gonna be a ganked, isn't it? I've got like 4 clicks. It's fine. Oh, it's a Mr. Hendrick. Oh, that's unfortunate. I don't think I can do a core damage here. If I do a core damage, it has to hit exactly the career fair. No, it doesn't, because I can backstitching HQ. Right, just don't hit the deep dive. Oh, it's so good. Yeah, we'll shuffle that back. We're gonna hit a Nightmare Archive here because we've already seen at least one. Where do we go first? Do we? I think we probably use the backstitching on HQ. Makes more sense. So we should. How we have already played it. Let's go HQ and see what's going on. Okay. They don't de-res anything here, right? There's nothing worth de-resing. Trash backseat, yes, please. I mean, if we could snipe an agenda, then that's like, oh, yes, please. Thank you very much. And we've still got enough clicks. Look at this. We've still got enough clicks to steal another Ikawa. That's disgusting. That's disgusting. It's going to be really anticlimactic if I just steal the winning agenda here, but there we go. No, biotic, but that's fine. Yeah, let's let them spin. Hendrik makes sense, and Cybersand. Deep dive. Salvo testing for the win. And we've got another click. What should we let's see the Nightmare Archive to take a core, just for the fun of it. That's ridiculous. We had so many clicks. To steal GG. To steal an Ikawa and still be able to like access 2 more agendas in one turn is like kind of nuts. And yeah, like we could have done the same if they had 2 ice and we'd kept the Estebrado, but we're fine. We just Estebrado through it. We still have enough clicks to do it. I mean, clearly we need to put some more money in this deck, and that's not for me to do right now, but another time. But like the kind of the theories there that this could actually be a decent card. I mean, I guess I've got to get to threat 4, or you've got to let them get to threat 4. So that's kind of interesting. And maybe that's a bit too risky, but you can just use it for your deep dives early on. So stick a bit more money in here. Probably take the tread lightlies out. They were cute, but apparently money is good. And yeah, I think there's a deck. Done. Pack it up. Right. I'm going to go to bed. I hope you all have a good week. If anyone's around on Saturday in the Bristol area or wants to travel over to Bristol area, please come. That's such a... sorry, I have to read this out and I have to quickly respond to it before I go then. Deep Dive is a card that Climactic Showdown should have been. My word, Dave, I really like Climactic Showdown. I've made it work in decks before. I've considered it in Esser decks. It's actually like potentially good in Esser decks. But if you are unaware of, like, if you play with this card a bit, you can actually work out how to use it to your advantage to force the corp. Like, you don't have to run on the server that they trash the ice from. There is massive play around for this, and it shouldn't be 5 influence, and it shouldn't remove itself from the game, and it's so underwhelming in reality. But there's certain decks that can play this very well. Anyway, I'm going to go for now. Maybe next week we'll play a Climactic Showdown deck. Who knows, eh? But thanks all for tuning in. I will catch you again. Ciao for now.